So basically, in solving for y, this is just a two-step equation. There are two actions happening to y here. It's being multiplied by the -2 and divided by the 3. It doesn't really matter which one you deal with because multiplication and division are on the same level. So first of all, we can do the opposite of dividing by 3. We'll get rid of the 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is to multiply by 3. So if we multiply both sides by 3, 3 will go into 3 one time. So that's -2y times 1, which would just give us that -2 times y. And 3 times -8 would give us -24. So now we have -2 times y. The opposite of times is divide. So if we divide both sides by -2, negative divided by negative is a positive, and 2 will go into 2 one time. So we have 1 times y, which is just y, 1y. Negative divided by negative is a positive, and 2 will go into 24 12 times. So that's +12. Y is equal to +12. If you had decided to go the other route and deal with the 2 first, the -2 first, this is -2 times y. So if we had divided both sides by -2 first, negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 2 goes into 2 one time. So that would be 1 times y, which would be y, divided by 3. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that would be 2 goes into 8 4 times. Now we can deal with the dividing by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is to multiply by 3. So if we multiply both sides by 3, 3 will go into 3 one time. 1 times y is just y, and 3 times 4 is 12. So you can see that either way we do this, we get y is equal to +12. Okay, on problem number 2, we have 4a minus 5 times 6a plus 1. So what we're doing here is we're distributing 4a times both of these, and then -5 times both of these terms. Sometimes you'll hear this called FOIL. It just means the first two terms, the outer terms, the inner terms, and then the last terms. That's what the FOIL stands for. But really, it's just the distributive property twice. So 4a times 6a. 4 times 6 would give me 24. And a times a, when you multiply variables, like variables, the same variable, you simply add the exponent. 1 plus 1 would be 2. So 24a squared. Then 4a times 1, 4 times 1 is 4, and there's no variable, so it's just a. Plus, because it's a positive times a positive, so just 4a. And that makes sense because anything times 1 is just itself. So plus 4a. Now we're going to distribute -5 to both of these terms. Negative times a positive is a negative. 5 times 6 is 30. And then there's no a's to add exponents with, so that's just a. -30a. And then we'll distribute it over here. -5 times +1 would be -5. So you'll notice here that my like terms are in the middle, different signs. So I'm going to subtract these two numbers, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. So 24a squared, the bigger number has the sign I'm going to take. So minus 26a, and then minus 5. So your variable exponents should be decreasing as they go down. Problem 3 is going to be the exact same procedure. U plus 8, U minus 4. So we'll distribute U times U would be U squared, because all we're going to do is U to the 1 times U to the 1 would be U to the 2. Add those exponents. U times negative 4 would be negative 4U. Positive 8 times U would be positive 8U. And then positive 8 times negative 4, signs are different, so we're going to make that a negative. And then 8 times 4 is 32. So when we're multiplying integers, if the signs are the same, it's positive. If the signs are different, it's negative. When we are adding integers, if the signs are different, we're going to subtract the numbers. 8 minus 4 is 4. But we're going to take the sign of the bigger value. The bigger value here was positive. So there's your, there's your expression. That's the word I was looking for. Your expression. It's not an equation because there's no equal sign. It's an expression. And number 4, evaluate the expression for m equals negative 6. M squared plus 8m plus 4. So if I'm going to plug in m at negative 6 for m, that would be negative 6 squared plus 8 times negative 6 plus 4. So squared means times itself. Please do not pay attention to that Wendy's commercial that says bis squared, meaning 2 times 2, because that is just unintelligent. Squared means times itself. Plus 8 times negative 6 plus 4. So negative 6 times negative 6. Negative times a negative is a positive. 6 times 6 is 36. Positive times a negative is a negative. 8 times 6 is 48. Plus 4. Now think about it. You've got two numbers here. One's positive, one's negative, but the bigger value is negative. So we're going to subtract these numbers. 48 minus 36. 2, 1. So that would be negative 12 plus 4. Signs are different, so I'm going to subtract these numbers. 12 minus 4 is going to be 8. Bigger number is negative, so there's your final value, negative 8. When we plug negative 6 in for m, we get negative 8. And number 5, the last one you sent me was 7/6 minus 1/9. Okay, minus a negative. Remember, negative means opposite of. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. Or you could look at it as minus a negative. Negative times a negative is positive. Either way, we need a common denominator here. You can multiply these together. 6 times 9 is 54, but you're going to end up having to simplify it at the end. What I like to do is I like to take my largest denominator and find multiples of it and see if this one will go into it. So I start listing multiples. 9, 6 won't go into 9. 18, because 9 times 2 is 18. Oh, 6 will go into 18. What do I have to multiply 6 by to get 18? I have to multiply it by 3. So I found a common denominator. So this is what I do. I take 9 times 2 to get 18. So I have to multiply the numerator times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/9 becomes 2/18. What do I have to multiply 6 by to get 18? I have to multiply it by 3 to get 18. So I have to do that same thing to the numerator. 3 times 7 is 21. So 7/6 becomes 21/18. Now that I have a common denominator, I can add these numerators. 21 plus 2 is 23. And I don't have to worry about simplifying this because this is as simplified as it's going to get. 23 is actually a prime number, so it can't be simplified any further. But that's because I came up with the lowest common denominator in this process. If I had just tried to multiply these two together, 6 times 9 to get 54, well, yeah, that was going to give me a common denominator, but it wasn't going to be my lowest common denominator. So then when I got to my answer, I would have to try to find a simplified answer. And that can take a while. So it helps if you find the lowest common denominator. You save yourself a step at the end. And I do that by taking the largest denominator and start listing its multiples and just trying to find the smallest one that the other denominator will also go into. And you can do that by checking it with your calculator. 9 divided by 6 gives me a decimal answer. 18 divided by 6 gave me 3. It wasn't a decimal answer. So there you go. All right, I hope this video was able to help you. So please let me know if you need further help. Have a good day.